Hi, Eric Lanask here. We're in New York City at the Kimmel Center. We're here at Devcon5, and I'm talking with Patrick Sheridan. Patrick is from Modus Create. Patrick, thanks for joining me this morning.
Hey, thanks to be here, Eric. We're really excited for the show and really excited about HTML5 technology.
So, why are you excited? What are you excited about?
Sure. So, just a little bit about our company. So, Modus is a 2.5-year-old bootstrap startup out of DC. We're doing a lot with lean product development and really helping a lot of big Fortune 1000 companies adopt emerging technology. So, we've partnered with Sencho, which is an HTML5 framework company out of Palo Alto, and we've been doing everything from helping big publishers like Fortune put their iPad app as a hybrid and put it in the iTunes store, to helping big enterprises like EJ Gallo or Intuit rethink their product portfolio for the mobile web.
Are you surprised at the adoption rate of HTML5?
I'm not. I've really looked at it as kind of an inflection point around the penetration of 4G LTE bandwidth and just better Android processing power. So the way we really think about HTML5 is very similar to like the first .com, like the dial-up days. Native apps, there'll always be a place for them, but we think they're the CD-ROMs of mobile. The browser effectively will win, but it's really a matter of when the browser and the ecosystem around HTML5 can really support the browser as a delivery channel for apps and content.
Is there a different expectation around HTML sites and HTML5 based apps as opposed to native apps where you always expect there's sort of a hit or miss kind of environment?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, a lot of people reference Facebook, a lot of people reference LinkedIn, and as kind of the user experience isn't there yet perspective. And what a lot of our focus is really the kind of business to employee environment where you're actually dealing with a more controlled environment where what comes out of the box with HTML5 frameworks really plays well. I think the more you get into kind of consumer-oriented land, you're really looking at hybrid applications. So a lot of HTML5 content in a native wrapper that can leverage all the device mechanics. But in terms of just trying to say that one will definitely win, we kind of look at it like Java and .NET. Neither technology or PHP either really won. There's a place for each, and we feel like right now the internal apps for the enterprise is really the place that's getting the most traction.
And what are you doing to help encourage or drive adoption in the enterprise?
Sure. So our team is 30 guys in 4 countries, and a lot of our guys have written books on the different HTML5 frameworks. We've done a lot, like I said, with Sencha, and we've written a couple courses around. What we find is a lot of big companies out there are looking at startups and saying, we want to be agile, we want to be lean. And what they're looking at technology to solve the product development process problems, and in all cases it doesn't. So a lot of what we found is when you first go in to build an app for a big customer to show them what kind of highly leveraged outcomes you can get with emerging tech, they then realize, well, how did you manage that team? How did you integrate that technology into the product development team? And so what we found as a company is technology is just one part of the equation. It's then how do you integrate the software engineering team with the business team? How do you integrate user experience into that? And so for us, it really comes out to be a combination of training, of what we call learning engagements, where we're really embedding with the product team to help them get something to market, and then obviously like turnkey product development, where we're just tunneling through the mountain to get something done.
What kinds of things are you helping enterprises bring out to their users?
So right now we're talking to a company that has a huge industrial catalog that's got over 2 million SKUs in it, and they're looking at trying to raise their top line revenue by $100 million by leveraging this channel. And so when you think about the way we look at the market right now is there's a set of CIOs that we first started working with in digital media and publishing, where their entire industry was being disrupted, not just by mobile, but by all the revenue models around moving the content from traditional media to digital medium. And what we're really seeing now is the CIOs that we're calling the second wave, and those are CIOs that didn't really have to move in 2010 because their core business wasn't disrupted, and they're looking at mobile as additive. And so the core difference between 2010 and now is it's really a devices market share kind of landscape. We were part of a team that helped put a big daily deals app into production in the UK, and a lot of that was looking at how much support do we need for Android, how much will be native, how much should be hybrid, how much should be mobile web. And that's the place we're really playing, where again, the market conditions are very different. If you're trying to roll out something B2C, or even internal for your enterprise in a bring your own device kind of market, you're inevitably supporting multiple devices. And so we're trying to kind of qualify the investment in adopting this emerging tech by showing that it's kind of a write once, adapt many. It's not a silver bullet, but it will help you kind of leverage this multi-device market that is the reality moving forward.
So it sounds like that cross-device, cross-platform, cross-operating system interoperability or compatibility is still going to continue to be a little bit of a stumbling block.
Yeah, and this is, I think, really the role for frameworks. There's HTML5, the core, spec itself, and then there's frameworks like jQuery or Sencha, Angular, or micro frameworks that sit on top. And the job of the frameworks really helps put a layer of abstraction around those differences, so that as an app developer, you're really just knowing that if I want to handle this set of the API, the framework handles that, that kind of branching for me. In my experience, just as a developer, anytime you see framework that's version 1 to version 2, those are kind of the still in the forest, dark ages of the framework finding its place. And so we're really excited as we see some of the major frameworks going to version 2, version 3, because it's really that level of maturity. I think one of the themes that's come out of the conference is, as you add features to frameworks, you're also adding size to the framework and a lot of kind of potential bloat, which can make the framework on mobile be very challenging. And I think that is where this next generation of frameworks are really trying to address that. How do we take the best parts of big application patterns and also remember that we're dealing with a device with a lot of constraints, either bandwidth or processing power.
Well, that's just an inevitable part of growth of any market. I think you're looking at enhancing a product without increasing the negative components.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I wouldn't say any more than that.
What do you see for the future? Is how quickly is HTML5 going to continue to grow, and will we continue to have a fair distribution between native and HTML5 apps, or are we going to see something else emerge?
So we're very bullish on HTML5, the future of it. We think that if you think about even going back to when applications started to really virtualize infrastructure and hardware and put things out into the cloud, and just the speed of the application development process started to go from 2 years to 1 year to 9 months to 6 months, the amount of a small team can push to production in 3 months, it really allows businesses to have a more finely grained product roadmap. And again, what we kind of feel is, it's not so much about HTML5, the spec itself. There'll always be room for improvement there. But it's really about the ecosystem of the tools that help HTML5 developers test their code better, because it could still be somewhat challenging to have automated and reliable testing. We're just bullish on HTML5, and the browser is ultimately really winning the app and content delivery war.
Excellent. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us here at Devcon5.